So, you already know, man. It's the motherfucking Chief Black Wolf. I'm just adding on to my place in the story again. Finish this build with this colonizer. You know what I'm saying? I shared a little bit about a little bit with this unthinking man. You know what I'm saying? Retired professor of Florida. So he goes on to say both West Africa and Ethiopia, or Kush if you like, are sub-Saharan. You clearly carry those phenotypes. It's not racist to notice such things. Surely you have genes that cross a broad spectrum of, but I mentioned sub-Sahara because that is as the myth goes. Frankly, it doesn't matter to me what you are. It doesn't change the fact that portraying a person with those characteristics as an example of a Native American is incorrect. Well, first of all, we ain't been talking about Native Americans. We say American Indians, which are two different things. First of all, let's duly note that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't come off no Bering Strait, no Asian and Siberian bloodline, none of that. So I hit back with, my people are not sub-Saharan Africans, sir. That is so racist to attempt to classify my people as sub-Saharan when our phenotype is different. However, I understand why you would attempt to classify all melanin people as African. Shoot, you work for University of Florida, which is definitely known for its racist past. Ooh-wee. So I already know that probably got up in his skin, but it's the truth, you know what I'm saying? So then he gonna fire back. Let's see how he fired back. He say, let me see, cause I gotta get these things all right, cause how it go. So this was he replied. That was a reply to the how when I told him I talk how I want. He was like, it's not difficult to decode primitive communication, but it's annoying when it comes from someone who should know better. Therefore, we're dark-skinned people all over the world, but to portray them as having sub-Saharan African phenotypes is ridiculous. DNA studies of North America indigenous people pre-Columbian show they were more closely related to Asia and Polynesian populations that also carry trace Neanderthal DNA, making them genetically closer to Europeans and sub-Saharan Africans. And remember this, I am as closely related to the mitochondria Adam and Eve as you are. This means that if we are going back 250,000 years ago, all claims about who got where first became moot. So, you know, then he popped off with that, right? He thought he was doing some hot shit. He thought he was doing some hot shit when he said that. So I come back and let this motherfucker know. So I'm trying to see how that. He thought he was doing some hot shit. So I popped back right off on his silly ass, letting him know. Will O'Brien, definitely not. Y'all only been on this planet about 7,000 years. And study has shown that all people has come from the first people of this earth. Matter of fact, I think back in 1987, Time magazine had an issue about the first people. Matter of fact, it even displayed a black Adam and Eve on the cover for those who believe in that walk of life. Matter of fact, they traced the mitochondrial DNA all the way back to a woman of melanin. And by the way, the people who you speak on with Asian and they blood and all those are the fake Native Americans. The indigenous people of this land look like this. You know, I had a post showing, you know what I'm saying, what the temples look like. Temples of the warriors down there, Yucatan, all that, and South America type shit. And I know he wasn't expecting that because, you know, most pale faces, Europeans of a high prestige, they'll look at someone such as myself, tattoos, wigs, you know, jewelry, and be like, oh yeah, I'm about to run circles around him. But he ain't know who he's playing with for real. So, boom. I continue to let him know. I say, Will O'Brien, if you take the time to pull it up, you'll see they wore locks. And this image comes from the South American Temple of the Warriors, if I'm not mistaken. Anywho, have a nice day. I really enjoyed the chat. Oh, and don't forget, even when Columbus, which is not his real name, got here, he even spoke of the so-called blacks who were already here thriving and sliding. So this is how he about to trip himself up. Check what he say. He say, Lorenzo Avery, I almost forgot. Columbus did not speak of black people living in the New World. He was documenting something one of the natives said about trading with black-skinned people from the South who came in canoes. So we're going to pause right there. You just said Columbus did not speak of black people living in the New World, but he documented what a native saying about people. So is that not him talking about mailing people in the New World? I'm just saying, like, come on, man. He said, I almost forgot. Columbus did not speak of black people living in the New World. He was documenting something one of the natives said about trading with black-skinned people from the South who came in canoes. Well, if he documented it, and somebody reading his documentation, that's him speaking, even though he's getting the source from other people of the land or whoever he's talking about. Like, come on now. Then he gonna go ahead and say, well, many of the southern indigenous tribes were and are very dark skinned. However, there's no archaeology evidence, no DNA evidence, and no cultural shift evidence that West Africans ever made it to South America. First of all, he's still messing up, because ain't nowhere I'm claiming or saying I'm South African or African, period. I just showed you my tree, idiot, that I ascend from Cherokee bloodline. My 11th great grandfather, Chief of Choctaw, Tennessee, Chippewa, and his son Black Fox and all them. This is my family tree. Like, so what do you keep talking about this African shit? Nigga, I ain't from fucking African, white boy. The fuck? So, he say, furthermore, if they would have brought African diseases with them. No evidence of that either. If real proof is ever found, I will change my stance. But until then, I will go with as already been proven. Oh yes, I would also like to point out that it was common in the 15th century for Europeans to describe anyone with darker skin as black. This is why today so many people think the Moors were black when they actually were Arabs who held a lot of black slaves and had a few black military units. Lastly, you really should consider cleaning up your writing. When I read it, it comes across as juvenile, and you lose credibility with your readers. Just food for thought. Enjoy your day. He's still shooting. See, I like Spawn with this motherfucker colonizer. He's still shooting, right? So boom. So I say, Will O'Brien, what you mean no evidence of dark-skinned people over here? Are you not familiar with the Olmec heads found all of the Americas? Like, these things like 5 tons, like, you know what I'm saying? Probably bigger than his whole house. Like, what the hell? What the fuck are you talking about, caveman? Like, then I let him know. Oh, Will O'Brien. And don't forget about the mound builders as well as the Mississippian culture. So then, boom. Which, you know, we had great kings during the Mississippi culture till we start went to beefing with each other, and we start choosing different European sides to try to get our tasks done on one another. Hold up. So then he gonna pop back off. I'm a retired history professor, so I am familiar with Columbus, but thanks for the lesson. The University of Florida recently did a DNA study on mummies in South America. There was no sub-Saharan DNA found. That's like strike 5 or more. So he's still talking about sub-Saharan. And I'm telling him, indigenous. Nigga, What the fuck is going on with you, fucking white nigga? It's motherfucking crazy. And when I use the word nigga, I'm using it in its proper context, an ignorant person. Because he's still trying to force his sub-Sahara storyline. And I'm telling him, nigga, it's indigenous over here. So he said, my advice is to search for facts and live with the truth. Going through life believing things just because you want them to be true might make you popular, but it will keep you in ignorance. It's your choice. Good luck. So I was like, oh shit. This motherfucker here. He still think he popping off. Talking about Africans and all, they gonna bring disease and all this. But let me see. So this is pretty much where I shot back at him at. Cause I even went to talking about Albert Perry on his ass. Let me see. Oh, right here. When he was popping off talking about the phenotypes. Okay. I say, Willow Brown, I never said I was Native American, sir. I said indigenous American Indian. Question though, since you want to bring up Kush, Ethiopia, or whatever strokes your boat, you stated you can know the certain genes that come from them. So my question is, how you don't know their genes ain't come from us over here from the Americans? Because last time I checked, Albert Perry from Spanish Florida, who died in South Carolina, has the oldest genes on Earth, older than so-called Adam, for a lack of words, by 100,000 years. And Albert Perry, by the way, would be considered a so-called African American. Then he gonna talk about whatever. I didn't even read your last post. You're boring me, and I don't care. So write what you want. I'm moving on. I bet you is moving on, sir. At that point, because now you like, damn, oh shit. How the fuck this nigga know about Albert Perry? What the fuck? You know what I'm saying? So that was a little skirmish with him. Then, mind you, we had this other colonizer, Mr. Lazarus Jasper. You know what I'm saying? He think rise from the dead type shit, the Irishman. Yeah, this motherfucker, he pop off. You know what I'm saying? When he pop off, he said, this shit again. And I was like, what shit, Mr. Colonizer? They don't like when you call them that, but they, you know. So he was like, Irish wasn't colonizers, mister. We was clans. And so I was like, oh, I see. You an immigrant. However, weren't the Irish involved in colonization efforts, particularly in the Montserrat? Then he hit back, not my family, poorer than yours. Irish slaves, essentially. We ain't shit. Well, I'm glad you feel that way about your Irish linen shirt. He said, we ain't shit. I can just see him looking like a Notre Dame leprechaun saying that we ain't shit, with his hands balled up with some tobacco full with meth smoking out his lips. So I was like, so he's like, no delusions of grandeur here. Can't say the same for you. So here he go. Here this motherfucker go. So I was like, you didn't answer the question, Mr. Irishman. Did not the Irish colonize the Montserrat? And please forgive me if I'm butchering that word. If I'm butchering the word. He said, I did. I told you my family had no parts in it. Not sure what your angle is, trying to force me to accept responsibility for the actions of another clan. Nah, boy. He said, hey, this man, listen, I got in a whole debate with this European on Facebook, right? Man. Listen, he's talking about some, nah, boy. He got mad. Yeah, yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Hey, listen. So look, he said, no, because he an Irishman. And I told him, I say, didn't the Irish was colonizers? So he tried to say they wasn't colonizers. So look, he said, So he said, nah, boy. So I said, listen to your racist ass. Nah, boy. You a real pale nigga. That's what I called him. So he won't play. Yeah, boy, that's a racist slur. So I'm getting racist with you. I'm gonna call you a pale nigga.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah. So he told me so. Couldn't use the term white for you. So I could continue to let him know I couldn't use the term white for you. That deals with status, and you already let it be known your people were Slavs or slaves. So he shoot back. Yeah, my people were under indentured servitude. It happens. My people was under indentured servitude. It happened. So I was like, man, hold on, cause he gonna get disrespect before I even get right there. Hold on. Hold on. Before I even get there, hold on. Where he go? Cause he gonna pop off again. He like popping off. That's one thing about the pale races on the earth. They love popping off. Cause he said something. Hold on, it's hold on. Hold on, I'm trying to figure out. Cause he gonna say something on. He said, yeah, my people were under servitude and it happens. Then it was like, he said something around the words that made me respond like that. He was like, he said, he was like, whatever he said, it made me respond like, okay, man, mama a trend. Any who enjoy the conversation, feel free to stop by any time. By the way, Irish is Irish no matter what clan did what. You said Irish was not colonizers, and that shows you they got their hands dirty too. But why they ain't pulling up? Hold on. Why are they saying pulling up the whole room? Seems as if they done took some of the comments, they're going back and forth away. Let me see. Yeah, it's like they most relevant selected, so some replies may have been filtered out. I bet y'all did filter this shit out. I wouldn't have getting his motherfucking ass. And so he like, you are now being, look at it, he get mad. You are now, have been, and always be a common nigga and nothing more. Your mama, a motherfucking pale face, whore ass dog. But anyway, you know, I kept it cool and collective. Like, well, thank you. Best compliment I heard all day. Be blessed, sir. And that ended, but that's crazy how these motherfuckers, they get mad when you start posting your place in the story. They need to be known what time it is. You motherfuckers got a motherfucking problem with this shit. Now I'm trying to see, can I pull this shit back up any type of way?